And I have to be thankful. And it's a way for me to stay strong, as I always say, because it's important. As a target individual, you got to be strong on understanding reality. As there's a whole ecosystem of some of the most unimpressive individuals trying to break you down. And it's not because you are weak in a sense of like anybody can break you down. It's because the program, this machine that is being a target individual, is meant to really just slowly just break you down. So I'm a target individual who deal with not only this gang stalking, this noise campaign, and all the other things, which I think is the most important, difficult thing to deal with. Which is not just like how they're attacking my body and just weakening me physically and health-wise, but psychologically. What's the worst for me, what the hardest thing to be dealing with for me, is how they're just destroying my ability to be me. By rewiring my brain, they manipulate my brain this very degrading way, which is what a lot of target individuals deal with. Not all target individuals, I'm conscious of that, but a lot of target individuals have called out that this is something they go through, and I find strength via others saying exactly the same thing. And however they try to put things together to make me internalize what's being manipulated, I'll never internalize that. And so you'll find out soon that this very childish individual. And that's not because you're just that weak that a childish individual can make you doubt yourself. It's not that. It's that the technology that is attacking you, that can rewire your brain, is that sophisticated. And this program definitely makes it easy and facilitate evil. Even children participate in this. For me, I don't even want to call them children, because I don't even want to humanize them. Because when I see them, I don't want to see them as human. And it's not something I'm saying just to be mean and crude, but what's happening here is that these participants who are children, they think it's no more and they like to gamify it. And I know some of it is just to also cope. It's like a coping mechanism. And they think if they become more childish, you're not going to see them as what they truly are part of. And you're going to hear testimonials of a lot of target individuals calling out. There's a lot of children participating in that. It's common. There's a video not too long ago, a woman called Ella from New York, who actually, and I don't know if Ella's watching my videos, but she thought those children participating that were like trafficked. They're not trafficked in the sense that they're they're being taken away and forced into that now. They're just coerced via their parents and family members. It's just, this program is so normalized that the whole family can be involved, the whole neighbor, the family, mother, children, all that can participate. It seems like this is the type of program that has been so machined to the point that anybody can be involved. They welcome the participation, and really they put in a community effort into the breaking down of the test subject, because this is bigger than that. This is really utilizing human beings as guinea pigs, right? So this is an effort that the government has orchestrated, that allows, that facilitates, and I think welcome children to participate in that. With me, they utilize it as a way to also cognitively attack me. I think when they utilize it for me, when I hear this childish individual talking to me, they suppose, and that's why I don't want to humanize them. I think they expect me to just forget that, they're children. No. Children can be involved in something that kills children, which is what's happening here. For me, I take the seriousness of what they're part of to the fullest, to the maximum level. The tense, I keep it's tense to the level. A child participant that coming near me is going to feel the tension at a high level. Even the young ones. Because, for example, when there's a little child, it's like, we're going to move on. It's like, this child doesn't even know about move on. We'll move on for what? You're going to start making your own meal? But there's children, like teenagers, that they just, it's that stage when you start trying to find an identity. And so, for me, what you're saying here is these teenagers growing in this, their identity right now is to play victimized individual. Children who are victimized, rape victims. Very foul. It's not a move on type of, a child can say we can move on, but no child move on from playing rape victim. And if a child try to convince you that, understand that's a child trying to convince you that, which is what's happened to me. These children will get theirs, not today, and I know it will happen, and it will. I don't feel bad for that. I don't feel, I don't feel pity for them or sympathy. I know that's where it's gonna go. So for me, what they do is they try to like normalize the level of foulness they're part of. That's why I don't want to humanize them. One of these clowns here, which I've provided all the warnings, right? So at this point, they know what's going to happen if they will try to play this game with me. I'm already taking away their humanity. I don't see them as human. Not because I don't think children are human. It's because this involved children are doing very inhuman things, involved in very inhuman things, and try to normalize it, which means they're being groomed. And they're groomed in a realm disgusting. And it's not, they're just fun, even entitlement, which is another level. At least if you're scared as a child, it's like, okay, I know I'm doing something bad, but I'm scared. No, they think it's normal, so I have to crank it up to... it's gonna go up. I'm gonna be mean to the people who torture children, like mean. Especially these teenagers. Oh my goodness. I'm waiting for the second they try to just escalate. I'm escalating with them with no shame. You don't want to stoop to a level of a child, but we're talking about children involved in a program to torture children. So this is no longer a regular child. I'm going to escalate all the way there, even maybe lower. What you're seeing here is one of these next door clowns, man. It's so sad because they're a little trashy shit. Excuse my language, but they tell me how they're gonna frame me, and they use that to try to gaslight me and try to box in the ways they make me think. Listen, what I deal with today, for example, as I'm making this video, they were making me imagine some disgusting sexual act with a child, because what I deal with is this V2K technology that they attack my mind with, so they can make you have imaginations of all disgusting nature, and in their job is to gaslight you, to make you internalize with these things, right? So they want you to feel guilty with how this technology they know can manipulate your brain this way. You feel guilty, you internalize that, you feel, oh my gosh, what was that I just imagined? Instead of, oh, these people are making me imagine this nastiness. How they do that? Every time this imagination is implanted into your brain, they do noise campaign, they slam the doors, they do this, they do this. And it's not only just imagination, sexual stimulation. It's the things of all degrading level. And then they want you to start internalizing as if they're not the one day in and day out to rewire you. And so they have tactics of like disorientation, gaslighting, get you to, like they have ways to box it in. Boxing your thought process that they created to make you internalize this. And they go through the whole scripts of things they do. For example, right now, I'm getting messages from these places and this and that. It's all part of like, try to like box in these things. They don't want you as a target visual to assess exactly what they're doing. Be able to critically think, it's like, oh, they try to distract me because somehow in my brain, when they manipulate me this way and then they box it in, it just goes into my brain and makes me like, it facilitates the internalization of it all. It's a whole concept that they work on every day. It's like a job, but every day it's like, oh, we got you, we locked it in. You blocked it in. It's in your brain. Now, for me, however you block it in, however you lock it in, and this is why I love making videos. It helps me vocalize it. Because we face each other. They think, oh, we were able to distract him enough. We were able to block these things up. And we got you to think that this is you never did that. I understand that's what you're doing. Even if my brain goes in, it makes sense in my brain. It's because my brain is no longer mine. It's being manipulated. Then this clown here is an example of what they were doing. Because they tell me they're framing me with this little trash. This little teenage trash. I've said it before. I'm not even trying to be threatful. I'm just being warned. I want to make the warning ahead of time. If you think that you're so entitled that people will just allow to play the role you want to play, which they want to play the rape victim, this trash start calling herself honey. because she's my honey. Now I deal with this V2K voices call, so they pop their voices, and she start whispering, "I'm your honey." I'm like, "Oh God, you're my trashy, this little trash." Bring and they start telling me. She started, "I'm gonna be bold." They tell me they're framing me with children, right? And not only that, they want to start method acting, make it look like it's really happening, not what they're framing, so they can perform better. It's like they want me to help them for the performance they're gonna have to create. They want me to let them method act it. Oh, and just don't do anything. Just be a good boy and let them perform the gig. I'm like, yeah. I'm saying, go ahead. Do your performance. I will explode on this low life. I will crash out so bad. That performance will be stopped immediately. I don't care how they've been putting each other's battery to let them lead this game. I promise on my dead body that if this little teenage trash even think of playing a role where we're like supposed to be together, it will be a problem that will be a deadly one. That's all I can say. I am fully ready to deal with whatever consequences by doing what I'm gonna do. I am fully prepared for that. Now, I don't want to do that. But if they want to escalate it like the way they say, I will go there with no hesitation. It will be an instinct. So this trash was saying something like that because I'm already hyped. Because, you'll see a video where I went on a date with some woman who was much older than me, a few years, over a decade, and apparently they'll tell me they're gonna frame me, and the thing is, I'm recording like the conversation. I'll record these things. I'll record the whole thing because I'm gonna put that in their faces, regardless of how, if it does anything or not. I'm gonna put that in their faces, and I'm glad they did this because I'm like, this is the reality of things. It's okay. Let me focus on this. So this trash start telling me she's my honey. I'm like, you're just my little trashy. But what was happening here is I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about the Hall of Fame and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and somehow they start talking about how there was the performance in the 80s and Cyndi Lauper, and they start going into like Michael Jackson and the performance, and I was not happy about this performance, and immediately they start to make me identify with the things they do to me. So today what they do to me, every day I see babies, little kids, children of all ages, especially little ones, they stimulate me, disgusting way. Right, and then they behave like they just not manipulate my brain, but it's one of the analysis that is non-manipulative. They're not rewiring my brain, but they're just assessing my brain. It's their mapping, and they use different verbiage to sound like they're not just purposely making my brain experience the things that they want me to experience, and that's done on purpose and by design. Then they gaslight me. They rearrange your brain enough for you to experience that because they want you to have these experiences, and then they have people around you who who's around you, already around you, who's then the job's like, we're gonna make him internalize this. When you do this thing to him, but we want him to think that it's not being manipulated to his brain. So they have all kind of gimmicks and theatrics. One of the theatrics, they love to slam the doors. Oh, we just saw what just happened in your brain. Bang, to make noise campaign. Bang. Sometimes they go back and do more noise campaign and just wait for like, is he like internalizing it? Sometimes they just try to be, like, for example, they just try to hit me or do something. I'm like, I'll never have to internalize these things. But I understand what this is about. And then I deal with V2K. V2K is the voices call. That's when you hear this like interaction with just childish like individuals, like and they start talking to you via voices calls. We proved it. They sound so bored. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just so obvious. Just internalize it. Just identify to it. It's you. And it's like some teenager, childish like individual who just want to be condescending to the point for you to eternalize. Like, it's whatever way to trick you into identify with these things that they themselves create for the purpose to break you down. But for me, then they try to do these things to this little baby. But for me, when they do that, it's like, no, but remember what you did as a child when you were in middle school. You did this to yourself and this and that. So today what we're doing, we're just assessing based on your brain today and your child brain. And then, like, trash, first of all. I'm a grown-ass man, and I know that these people that doing this to me are not only doing that to me, but they've done it to others. And matter of fact, this is not program that's out here protecting children, okay? They're not preventing children to be harmed. They're the opposite. They're involved in a program that harm in real time children. Very, very disgusting things. Things that happen to children in this program using this technology, using this system, this machine to harm children systematically. Some are dying. Some are just getting diseased. And these children participating in this program know that very well. Matter of fact, they're even utilizing children to negate the torture of children. It's so disgusting. That's why I don't even you're not human anymore. They think, and you'll see even at the target video, even women will say, "Oh, there's like young children involved in this." These young children are involved in a program that tortures children and women. So I'm listening to this Michael Jackson, and they're like, because right now I'm very underweight. Right? I'm losing a lot of weight. Now, I've never been a big guy, but when I'm stressed, now it's not even the stress. Now it's just my organs being damaged. I'm losing weight, a lot of weight, like unhealthy level. So I'm very much underweight, and that's because of unhealthiness. It's literally because they're damaging my body. The other time I was this underweight, it's because I was psychologically being broken down by the employer who put me in this program. But at least then I was just psychologically broken down, not my physical aspect. I could eat, but I didn't want to eat. Today, I want to eat, but I can't eat because they're doing things to my body, right? So I'm underweight drastically. So they talk about how, like, he was like, if only Michael Jackson was 20 pounds heavier. It's like, you see, just like Michael Jackson, you're also underweight. And they tried to box it in. It's like, Michael Jackson, it's like, you remember what you did as a child, plus it's like, first of all, if you want to bring up anything Michael Jackson, this trash around me, inclusive of these little clowns, I obviously know who's in charge of this program, this machine, this system. Let me just say this. Target video, don't think this is just some next door neighbors doing that to you, some cult doing that to you, some group of villain doing that to you, some group of like foreign country. Please don't get lost with the facade, the psyop, and the distraction. Is part of how they try to disorient you. Now, with that being said, I'm looking at these clowns for what they're truly part of. Very insignificant trash involving a program that tortured children and women. But it's led by governmental entities. They're nothings. They're not the one that deciding. Like, they tell me how they've decided what's going to happen to me because I'm already, like, in a critical state. I'm like, okay. It's like deciding a dying man who's already dying, what's going to happen to the already dying man. Like, I mean, they didn't even decide anything. Things were already concluded. They just make it look like you have some kind of empowerment when you're just a nothing. But they're nothing. But the entities behind this program truly have issue. And this is amazing. Listen, I don't, this conspiracy theory thinking is funny because I was watching this Epstein things and, obviously weird enough, Epstein and the intelligence community, very, very tight. But I don't even want to go to that. But let's not even go that far. There's things as legit as literally bills called S1413 where they validate that entities like the DoD have had issue with child porn. So much of it that a bill was created. Now it's clear that the entities behind this program, we talk about DoD, they've been working on technology that can do the things that we deal with as target individual since the 50s. These retards around you, their little gimmicks and distraction and the slamming of the door and all of that is simple. They're doing that for distraction. They try to confuse you. These clowns sometimes they're like, no, it's a portal, it's a channel, it's a back door. And you look at them, it's like, fuck you. Okay? Because it's like, it's insulting somebody's intelligence. It's like, look at you. So you want me to think that this isn't anything but this massive government that's been working on these things for freaking decades. But it's this back door of this avenging in a program that even torture me. It's like truly pushing you into stupidity, but their job is doing that. They take it very serious. They're very focused in the stupidity. They got to maintain that. They got to make sure that you subscribe to that. They would prefer if I ended up dying knowing, thinking that, oh my gosh, this was this group of fierce group of protectors of children and women and their money and their portal. No, that's what they would love to. That it's never going to happen like that. I don't know. I was being put in a program led by governmental entity linked to the DoD that use human subjects, men, women, and children all around the world as guinea pigs, where they rewire the brain, they attack the mind, they attack the body, and push target individual into insanity. They do the same systematic things. Children participate. A very unimpressive individual can participate, from the most impressive to unimpressive. Children to like whatever else. They attack your mind in these degrading ways. And they want you to identify with their personality. So they wanted me to internalize this personality of like Michael Jackson. And so to do that, they do this thing where they're boxing. So I hear this trash calling herself, I'm honey. I'm your honey. And she's like, I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say, I'm your honey. And she was like, listen, you're my trashing. If I see you and you try to play my honey and you think I'm going to let you live your bold life, which is coward low life, this little trash, live life playing rape victims when there's children and women getting victimized every day. You have these clowns playing the rape victims and call themselves bold. The word bold is the reason why they do that is just because they wanted to annoy me. Because there's a woman called Megan that did a bold thing, going after, and she's a target individual, going after somebody who allegedly was abusing her, but she knows the government was part of what was happening to her. And today she's a target individual. She's been trying to go after the father who abused her and did this thing as a child. She tried to go to court. She realized that, okay, there's involvement of government entities in this thing. So she sent a letter to the Justice Department saying that you've been involved in you've been in coercion with this system that's been doing these harmful things to me since I was a child. And she was scared because she's like, oh, I might be risking my own life by doing that. But I'm going to be bold. I'm going to take the risk and say something against these governmental entities that have been part of what's been happening to me. And so she used the word bold. Now, this little trash now, to try to annoy me, they use the word bold. It's like, I'm going to be bold. I'm going to play the rape victim. Now, there was obviously a cognitive reason why they were doing that. They tried to create an emotion that could box in this Michael Jackson personality they were trying to do. Everything is done in a way that's just meant to cognitively attack you. It's systematically done because they want you to internalize. You become a guinea pig. It's like a psychological cognitive warfare that you're just a guinea pig to. A test subject, just in the open lab. And they want to see like when are you going to fully internalize these things. For me, they tell me about all this horrible torture, which I believe is going to happen because clearly, if you hear my videos, I'm not internalizing this. I'm experiencing the nasty things they make me experience, but I'm not internalizing that. So they tell me I'm going to be castrated, I'm going to do this and that. Every time they make me have this experience, oh, they're going to do this. I mean, they say the little girls, and then say it in different language, thinking that's going to work. Then give me stimulations, and never. As I become handicapped, disabled, unable, or blind, whatever, I will never internalize any of this. Suffering is not going to make me subscribe to that, but I ask God to give me strength because I need strength to deal with the sufferings I'm going to go through. For this little clown, it's okay. I see them for the insignificant trash that will get there. So look at the future of people like that. They don't grow up to be okay. I love to say that in advance because I know that they don't even want to think about it. They don't care about that. It's funny, they'll tell me how they have planned everything for me. Of course, I know that. That's what they love about this program. I made a video a while ago saying that these people, they're so in love about this program because they can tell me everything I'm going to experience tomorrow, what I'm going to eat. Well, let's say who I'm going to eat. They try to change it. What I'm going to eat. They try to change it into something sexual and implant these children. It's so disgusting. What I'm going to eat. What time. When I'm going to get sick. What I'm going to watch. Like what YouTube videos can come up. And as I'm saying that, they try to play in my brain and plant their nastiness. But they can control everything and orchestrate everything. But in their life, they live life, planning for the best, hoping for the best, do the best they can, understanding that we can do that, but whatever's going to happen to us is going to happen to us. And I've seen that in real time. It's crazy. The people tell me, they will tell me what I'm going to watch, listen to like a podcast and say something they say in advance and I'm going to hear later on. They do that all the time. It's been a long time of doing that and they always want it to be mystified. They want me to be mystified by it. It's like, oh, no, it's like I already know. This is the machine. This is what we're dealing with here. You're just a clown, maybe who live next door. Maybe we're working over there. You're nothing, but you're part of this. That is just that big. No. I rather freeze to death than let this low life live their fantasy. Because, me, I'm prepping myself for the horror. I expect something. They don't know what the hell to expect. They don't even think. They don't even want to dwell on it. They don't even want to dwell on it. They don't even want to just even close. Just, oh my gosh, what if... They don't even want to have a... You know how scary that can be? You don't even... You just want to block it out so bad. That's like, oh my gosh. As vulnerable as they are. I was like, okay. You don't need to go through the horror I'm going to go through for you to have horror. But I will not let this trash live their fantasy. And I don't humanize them anymore. Because I want to prep myself for when I face them correctly. They try to blur, they try to use you as a decent person to negate that. They want the decency that you have. Allow them to act this way. They really thinks this way. They don't expect okay, we act this way. This man is going to be, No. They know you don't want to be an aggressive person. They know that you don't be somebody who... They know that. So they're going to really try to take advantage of it. That's why they use children for me a lot. To try to minimize. Children in regard to the talking. It's like, yeah, no, it's war. That's why they pipe their voices. It's like, it's war. No. Yeah. Because when you hear that, you think that, oh, innocent shit. No. Trashy. You little trash. It's okay. The thing with them is how easily it is to do the evil they do to us. They don't know that's the same easiness that can come back to them in regard to evil. Very easy. Just like they make themselves talk in this childish way, that's how easy things come back. Very easy. Very, very just they just like that. Woo, life changes. Just like they do these diabolical things to us, like they're normal in their pajamas. Just like that. Boom. Monsters don't just like evaporate. Nothing. But for me, I'm prepped because I faced them. And sometimes I'm always so... I went out. It looks like this little freaking teenage midget. I have a camera, so they even try to change it in my brain and create some. Oh my gosh, a little freaking. I'm like, oh my gosh, this little thing. To see these little things. Who's like, do you even see what you look like? Do you even are you? They try to make me imagine in a sexual. Do you even know what you look like? Sometimes I'm like, do you even aware that you look like that. Do you know how low pathetic you are? I think she left when she looked at me, because I think even when they see me, it's like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to play like this. We're gonna have to pretend like with this guy. You know, it's even in your mind. It's funny. I can't let these people live their fantasy, but you'll see some more videos of that. You'll see tomorrow be some interesting videos. But this is one of the pathetic one that lives around here. Oh my gosh, very sad. But like I said, I promised myself that I will make sure that I don't see them as human, because I can perceive them accordingly. Take me, just stay strong.